What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about making and modifying tools. In every mechanic's life, there's going to be a time you're going to have to modify a tool to get the job done. Take a look at some of our stuff.
You on out there? All right, let's get this thing moving.
What's up, YouTube? Today we got a super special, awesome little thing to show you guys. It's a redneck homemade tool episode. You can't buy these bad boys on the truck. Bill's gonna start and show you what we got.
Okay guys, first what we got is a bearing race. I took an old race, ground it down, welded some angle iron and some keepers on it. Here's another one for the smaller bearing. And this is the driver for it. Use like this. Of course, I use this punch for various different things. Of course, this is homemade too.
All right, guys, this thing has seen more beatings than a West Coast PD.
Here's another race that I've ground down to drive in new races. This is one that Clay made a couple weeks ago. This is part of an old brake chamber, or a new brake chamber. We didn't have to have the front part. And he welded into a race. We used it for an actual seal driver. And here's an old screwdriver slash door trim removal tool that I made years ago. It's been cut and re-welded and welded and cut and re-welded again.
Love it or hate it, everybody, but you sometimes have to modify tools to make them work.
This is a driver of some sort. I believe we were knocking some kind of pins in, putting them in that nut to keep them held in place, and then hitting this in with a hammer. This was made to pull bolts out of, actually, these on a trailer. There wasn't enough room to get a socket in there to where we were at, so we made a wrench. And another good wrench. That was used on a Caterpillar. I can't remember what exactly for. I know it was on the passenger side. I went to Napa, bought a brand new wrench, cut it, welded it.
That's probably under the turbo when I had to guess you had to go around turbo.
Yep. And there's another one of those good twisted wrenches. Now that took a little bit of heat and a little bit of bending to get that one perfect. More wrenches, more cut and welded wrenches. This is one of my all-time favorites. This is an old ratchet with a bolt put in the head of it, ground down. That makes a good filter punch. Or if somebody comes in belligerent, you can just knock them in the head with that, send them to the ER for a couple of days.
Nothing wrong with a good head knocker.
More punches. This is what I used to use, ground down. When you got your mud flap, you stick it where you want your holes. Take it, hit it one good lick with a hammer, boom, you got your hole.
You stole that from a leather punch.
You're right. More cheap screwdrivers, bent. This one was actually made, I used this one for a pick, O-ring pick. This one was actually made to pull a windshield, or to put a windshield in a Volvo, to pull the seal in. I can put a windshield in a Volvo in about 5 minutes with that.
5 minutes? Well, that's fast. Thank God we ain't got no Volvos.
More screwdrivers. This, my friends, is a steering U-joint remover. I got tired of the U-joint twisting and turning. I found some old scrap stuff we had laying around, stick it on the U-joint, knock it one good time, the U-joint is out. And this.
Out like in a Mike Tyson punch.
Exactly. And this.
This, guys, is a very important tool. Like, you guys are going to pay attention to this.
You have got to have this particular tool to get to remove the canoter valve off of a Caterpillar.
Canoter valves are a bitch.
This. Spot mirror brackets. What are they good for? Never to put a spot mirror on, but I can name 101 other things you can use these brackets for. Put these on the top of your battery post. If you got a battery that does not have a handle on it, put your nuts back on your battery. Boom, you got a battery toter.
Battery toter. Gotta have a battery toter.
Specialty air blowers. You can put a 1/4 inch, anything that runs off a 1/4 inch hose and you want to do it remotely, you can do it with this. I made this one for the 5th wheel slide, where you wouldn't have to get in and out of the truck to operate your slide, leave your slider, and get everything working right. There's another extended air blower. And if you'll look closely, This piece actually come off an old air chuck. These air chucks are not good for anything unless you have a camper. You're sissy la la and not man enough to man up in a tent for the weekend and have to have a camper. These are good. If you're in a big truck industry, toss it because it's not worth a crap. And if you'll do a 180, this is my most favorite.
All right, that would be halfway turned around.
All right.
Boys, this is a custom rig. I'm gonna do a walk around on this thing so you can see it, because just a one shot ain't gonna get it for you.
Explanation behind this, I bought this welder from a guy who worked on lawnmowers. Gave $100 for the welder, and I saw this snapper lawnmower sitting there, and I said, what do you have to have for that old snapper lawnmower with no engine or axle under the back of it? He said, if you buy that welder, I'll take $10 for it. So I cut down the frame, put wheels under the back of it, put U-bolts up here to hold my cables, bent the steering wheel down, boom, there it is. I love this piece of machinery.
Guys, this is like a 50-foot 220 extension cord to run this thing. We stretched this son of a bitch all over the shop, and I mean, it works. It's ugly, but it works. I mean, it works good. Better than toting that welder. The last thing I want to show you guys while Bill's putting up all of his homemade tools is what I use as cheater bars. Cheater bars are very valuable. We're going to start with what I call the light duty cheater bar. As you can see, we label them so new folks don't get confused. That's a light duty chisel bar. Cheater bar. Works great. This right here is a medium duty. As you can see, we labeled it medium duty. It's also known as It's a Bitch. This is a pipe. It'll grab a hold of some stuff. Extremely heavy. And the last one we got, we call it the heavy duty, also known around the shop as the big bitch. And I'm gonna have to zoom out where you guys can see how big it is. You see we beat the end flat. It'll hold large wrenches or any ratchet that we've got here, up to 3/4 inch, or put a 3/4 inch breaker bar. I don't know, Bill, hold that thing up next to you. It's probably, what, 5 foot long? Oh, yeah. It's a good 5 foot. I kept telling Bill I had a big one, but he didn't believe me, so I had to show it to him. Anyway, that's some of our homemade redneck wrenches and all of our homemade goodies. Hopefully you guys picked up a tip or two, and maybe you can cut up some shit and modify it too. Hope you guys like it. As always, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe down here below. You guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.